In this video, we are going to show you how to replace your rear window regulator assembly. Let's get started. Okay friends, let's get started on our job. We're going to make our way all the way to the bottom of the door panel where our lamp is located. Use a small pocket screwdriver and carefully get in between the door panel and the lamp, prying it down. You don't want to break this lens. Once you have it out of there, you want to look for the squeeze tab. Right where my pocket screwdriver is, there's a tab. I'll get in between this area, gently pry it, and remove the wiring. Once I have it off of there, just take a peek for corrosion. Assuming it looks good, go ahead and set that aside. Now follow that door panel straight up to just underneath your inside door handle. You're going to find a rectangular trap door. We'll carefully get inside this area, remove the trap door. We'll set that aside. Directly under it, you're going to find a 10mm headed bolt. You can also use a Phillips head screwdriver. Now let's continue up a little higher. You're going to find this rectangular panel. Carefully pop this out of place so you can gain access to 2 more 10mm headed bolts. Let's pull on this handle a little bit. Reach behind here, you can pop off this panel. With that out of the way, you'll find right behind it there's another 10mm headed bolt. Remove it. Now let's make our way to this armrest area. We want to carefully get in between the panel and the armrest and then gently start prying it up and away to expose 1 more 10mm headed bolt. There's the 3 clips located under there. There's our 10mm headed bolt. Let's carefully use a trim tool and start removing our door panel from the door. Behind this door panel, you're going to find a whole bunch of push clips that hold it to the door. We just want to pop them free. Now once you have the door panel broken free, you should be able to slide it up and away from the vehicle. There we are. Now as you pull the door panel away, we can continue on with our inside door handle cable. For this, you want to grab the cable and pull it away from the inside of the door handle. Once it comes unlatched from there, you just want to pull the little bobble up and out of place. Give it a quick inspection, move along. Follow the other cable all the way over to your door lock. You know the procedure. Go ahead and pop it right out of place and then slide it out of the door lock area. Quick inspection. Now we can move along to the window switch. The wiring on this will have the locking tab on the forward side of the door panel. Just press on that, pull it down. Quick inspection for corrosion. Set that wiring aside. Now we can move along to the wiring that leads to our tweeter speaker. We'll press on the tab where my small screwdriver is. Pull that out. Quick inspection. Set your door panel aside. With the door panel out of the way, let's move to our lower corner speaker. All you want to do is come in between this area with a pocket screwdriver, gently pry, lift the wiring up and off. Let's move along to the 3 bolts that hold the speaker in place. We'll use a 10mm. Dislodge the speaker from the door. Give it a quick inspection and set it aside. Let's move along to removing the plastic vapor barrier from the area. As we start pulling it away, you'll notice that you have cables that go through some slots and you have wires that go through others. Just pay attention to where everything goes. The next thing we want to do is replug in our window switch. Put the key in the on position, and then bring your window down to the position that you can gain access to two of your mounting bolts. The areas that you want to gain access through is through this hole right here and right there. Looking inside this area, you can see where one of my mounting screws is. I can gain access to it. If you can see that one, you should be able to access the other one. Once you're sure, continue on by removing the door panel again. Now the next thing you want to do is make sure you have some masking tape handy, because we need to grab the window. Put it up into the fully upright position and then tape it with several strips of tape, making sure that there's no way that the window can fall down while we continue. Once you have the window held in place, we're going to continue on by removing some of our mounting bolts. This one right here, you can tell it has a slot and then a larger hole. For this one, we'll just loosen it up. To do this, we'll use a 10mm socket. That one's nice and loose. Now I can fully remove this other upper bolt. Follow it straight down. Now we'll continue over to this side. You're going to find 3 more 10mm headed bolts that hold the motor to the door. 2 of them will have the slot with the larger hole as well. Before we continue pulling anything out, let's make our way up into here. While I wiggle this around, you'll find that you have this plastic tab holding the wire in place. On these tabs, you can just squeeze the 2 little ears together and then slide it right on through. Follow it up to its connection point onto the door. We'll use our small pocket screwdriver, carefully get in between this area and pry up against this square. Give that a quick check for corrosion. Now we'll continue by removing this from the door. To do this, I'll carefully use a trim tool and get in between the harness and the door itself and gently pry. Now we want to pay attention down in this area. If you were to put your hand up inside where the speaker was, you can grab onto the window motor. You'll notice I can lift it up, slide it to where those larger holes are, and then pull it towards the inboard side of the door. Now I can just let this dangle a little bit and we'll continue on up this way. Now for this one, I'll reach in through the larger hole. I'm going to bring this over to line up my mounting bolt hole with the large slot and then pull it down. Now we can pull this right out of the door. There it is, friends. Now you will have to remove the 2 lower bolts on your motor itself because you will be reusing them in the new regulator. Okay friends, now it's time to install our brand new window regulator assembly. Let's take those 2 bolts that we took out of the motor side and put them into place. One goes in this lower hole and one over here. You want to make sure you keep them nice and loose so you can slide them into the door. You'll find that the new window regulator comes with a new bolt. We just want to make sure that that's nice and loose so it can go through the door as well. Now let's take this and we'll put it in position behind the door. Let's pay attention up in this area. I'm going to try to line up my upper mounting bolt hole. Now we can follow it all the way down to the bottom. We'll get the lower bolt hole lined up as well. Start that one in. Now let's pay attention in this area. We'll start mounting the motor as well. All right, let's go ahead and snug them up. Let's get this bolt lined up as well. Start this in. Now let's continue with the wiring. I'm going to try to line up my squeeze tab with its corresponding hole here to hold it in place. Here we are. Let's latch this in. Listen for a click, give it a tug. Now you just want to pay attention to the push clips, slide them into the corresponding holes, make sure it's secure. Okay, we're at the point that we're going to start dealing with the glass again. You want to make sure that you're holding pressure on it. Remove all the tape and then slowly hold it and bring it all the way down till it connects to your window regulator. Now what you're going to notice looking down along the bottom, attached to the window itself, you have some blue clips. Those blue clips need to slide behind the window regulator area. Now we can put in our lower mounting bolts. The next thing you want to do is reconnect your window switch, put the key in the on position, and test your window functionality. Perfect. Now we can put on our vapor barrier. Now typically you're going to have a whole bunch of butyl tape that makes its way all the way around the door to hold this vapor barrier in place. On our application, it's completely dried out. So I just had to use a different type of sealant along this area. Now what you want to do is make sure that you find the hole for your cables and for all of your wires. We'll start with the cables. Slide it through there. Now typically as you go, you would just want to go ahead and stick this in place, making sure that you line up all the cables, the wires, and your mounting bolt holes. Slip that one through there. This one through here. And now we'll just bring this up and stick it in place. We'll get this wire through its mounting hole as well. Now we can mount our speaker. Let's put this in place. Put in all three of your mounting bolts and snug them up. Make your way to the electrical wiring. Listen for a click, give it a tug to make sure it's secure. Let's grab our door panel and get ready to install it. We'll start with our lock cable. You'll notice the very end of it has the little bobble facing down. We'll slide it right into this area on the door lock itself. Swing it on over and then attach it to its mounting point on the door panel. Should slide right in. Listen for a click, give it a tug to make sure it's completely secured. We'll continue on to our wiring down here. Line it up, click it in, give it a tug. We've got our window switch. Let's move along to our door handle cable. That's the shorter one here. That's going to slide right into this area, and then we'll swing it around and connect it into the door panel. Make sure you press that in as far as you can so you're sure it does not fall out while you're driving down the road. Make sure you come down along the bottom of the door, grab the wiring for the lower lamp. We'll just pull it out through the hole. Now while I'm holding this panel in place, I want you to look along this area. You're going to find that you have several holes in the door itself, and on the door panel there should be a pin that lines up with the corresponding area so you can press it into place. So let's keep that in mind. Now what I'm going to have to do here is grab this panel, I'm going to bring it up nice and high, push it up against the window, and then bring it down to lock it in place. Now once I'm at this point, I'm going to pay attention along the sides for those holes and corresponding push pins and press them in. Double check the door panel to make sure it's completely pressed in all the way around. Continue on to installing your mounting bolts. Now we can do the 2 bolts for inside the grab handle. We'll move along under the inside door handle. Let's put in our plastic trim panel. Should want to pop in place. Once you have it in there, continue on with your mounting bolt. Looking at the back of this, you can tell that you have 2 tabs. One tab is larger than the other. Looking at the holes, you can see which one goes where. Now we can put on this trim panel. Have a look at the locating tabs on it. Make sure that it lines up. Slide it into place. Now we can reconnect our lamp here. Now when we put this in place, you want to start with the bottom first and then roll the top. Continue on with your armrest. Make sure it lines up and press it in. Okay, we've got it back together. You've already tested the window, so you know it functions properly. Go ahead and clean up your mess. Aside from that, thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.